Hello and welcome to the Redstone Today Show. This is a grassroots community show that features interviews of local organizations and businesses from the town of Redstone. The mission is to give you a taste of what events and activities that are taking place in this unique town. The town of Redstone, also referred to as Ruby of the Rockies, is Pitkin County's little secret treasure. A beautiful, picturesque artist community located in the Elk Mountain Range in the White River National Forest. It is a haven for artists and outdoor enthusiasts. Redstone is just 1 hour away from Aspen and 20-minute drive from Carbondale, off the West Elk Scenic Byway on Highway 133. You can learn to fly fish on the pristine Crystal River or take a horseback ride in the backcountry of Colorado. The town of Redstone is designated a National Historic District. This area is full of rich history, which includes the Redstone Castle. It is a year-round destination offering tourists a wide array of lodging, restaurant, art galleries, gift shops, and antiques. You can stay the weekend or make it a day trip or attend one of the summer concert series that are held on Saturday evenings throughout the summer season. My name is Lisa Wagner. Today's show will focus on the Redstone Art Foundation's 25th annual Labor Day weekend art show and sale. This prestigious art show is taking place on Friday, September 3rd and going through Monday, September 6th. So let me begin by introducing my guests. Today we have Frances Bogle, who is the new elected president of the Redstone Art Foundation. Welcome.
Thank you.
We have the two artists with us who are participating in this year's art show. We have Andrea Garr, thank you for coming, and we have Connie Hendricks.
Thank you.
So enjoyable to have you guys here. It's great. So let's begin. So Frances, I wanted to start with you. Since this is the 25th annual Redstone Labor Day Art Show, how did this successful art show begin?
Well, in about 1995, some individuals and businesses in Redstone decided it would be really fun and very supportive of the artists to put on an art show. So our first art show was held in a small back room in the Redstone Inn, and we had 22 artists participating. And it was a roaring success. So the group decided to form a foundation and make this an annual event. So as you said earlier, this is a big year for us because it's our 25th anniversary. And we now are out on the front lawn of the Redstone Inn in a tent. And in order to maximize social distancing this year, we have a second tent. And that will give people a better opportunity to really view the art. We have over 30 artists and two wonderful ones sitting next to me.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. And anyway, I think this year we probably have more diverse work than ever before. I mean, we have the wonderful acrylic, oil, mixed media, pastels, watercolor. We also have all kinds of wonderful jewelry, which we'll hear about more.
And I remember the fused glass jewelry
Yes.
and the kaleidoscopes.
Oh, and kaleidoscopes. We have baskets. We're adding stained glass. Yeah. Furniture made out of repurposed materials, wood carving, and one of my favorites is we have a pet photographer. So it's going to be really a wonderful array of artists. And this show is a monumental effort to put it together. And we are so thankful to have this volunteer base in Redstone. We have at least 50, if not more, volunteers. And when you consider that Redstone boasts a population of 94, that's pretty impressive.
No, I at times we do a lot in such a small community. So why do you think that Redstone itself attracts so many artists?
It's breathtakingly beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world, I think. And I think that has started attracting artists, and like magnets, artists attract each other. But when they get to Redstone, they find it's such a supportive community. And of course, one of the things is the Redstone Art Foundation there to support them. And also, as you said a little bit earlier, we have galleries, and we have antique stores, and beautiful, classy gift shops. So I think that is what brings them here. Even back in 1930, Frank McCaw came here. Mayshell.
No, that's okay. A lot of people have it's.
We were working on pronouncing that. Mayshell came, and he loved the place so much that he established his studio here. And he's shown all over the place. He's at the Metropolitan Museum, he's at the Denver Museum, and interestingly enough, he has work in the Carbondale Post Office. And he was followed by all kinds of other artists, and one of our patrons, Jack Roberts, was one of those artists. So it just keeps moving and growing.
It's kind of amazing how the history of Redstone was included so many famous and internationally known artists, and we have one with us today too. So could you please share with us the history of the Redstone Art Foundation?
Well, quite simply, we're here to support and foster art in our area. And we have a volunteer board of about 8 people, and we do all kinds of things to support art, from educational programs, we do gallery tours, and of course our annual signature event, the art show. In 2020, when the COVID epidemic became problematic and artists were not able to show their work in galleries, we thought, how are we going to help and support our artists? And so we came up with some really innovative programs that were outdoors and that were COVID friendly. One of them was the holiday market, where we had over 30 artists up and down the Redstone Boulevard. And then we had our first plein air exhibit where we got to watch artists painting in our natural environment. So that was something that was so successful, both of those events, that we're probably going to do them every year, keeping us busy.
No, I enjoyed seeing the plein air this year. It was wonderful, and we had great weather.
Thank goodness.
So, along with the Art Foundation, could you give us some insight about the scholarship program for new upcoming artists?
Yeah. In about 2002, we received seed money, and we established the Jack Roberts Memorial Scholarship. And this is for people, young students who are graduating high school in the Valley and are going on to study art. And it is mainly funded by the proceeds from our art show. And in the last number of years since we started the scholarship, we have given out $50,000 in scholarships.
God, that's incredible. See what a small town can do for you. And an art foundation.
Yes, yes.
So we talked about the scholarship, so tell us about how to become a member or to become a sponsor for the Redstone Art Foundation.
Well, we became a 501c3 in 2006, so any donations made to us are tax refundable. And we got into the 21st century by modernizing our website and giving people the ability to purchase memberships and donations online. So the donations are incredibly important to us, especially as it relates to the ongoing programs we do and the scholarships. And we also love to have members. Members signify to us their support of the foundation, and also members get some special perks like priority when we're having events with limited numbers.
Oh, that's great. So let's talk just a little bit about the Labor Day Art Show. Well,
as you said, I think it's the premier event in the Valley, and it's something just shouldn't miss. So it's always on Labor Day weekend. It starts on Friday, September 3rd from 6 to 8 with a reception, a wine and cheese reception where we will be celebrating our 25th anniversary. And it gives you a chance to talk to and meet the artists on a more informal basis. And then the show goes on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5 and Monday from 10 to 4.
Okay. I personally love to go to the reception, the art reception. I get
really
to meet
fun.
the artists. You're surrounded by beautiful nature. You have beautiful art, and you have a glass of wine. It's a lovely way to spend the evening. I can't think of a better way.
Yes.
So, besides viewing and buying art, what else will be at the art show, Frances?
Well, our artists all grace us with demonstrations and educational programs that will go on during the entire weekend. And this year we actually have 3 programs for children. So it's really going to be a nice opportunity to parents to shop while their kids are being entertained.
Okay. So it's now time to meet our artists of the art show. And I would love to introduce Andrea Garr. She's also my neighbor down the street. So with your career and art background, and I know you owned a retail bead and fiber store in downtown Boston before coming to us to Redstone. So how did you happen to move to Redstone?
Well, Lisa, it was a very sudden and dramatic life change. Unplanned. And from living in downtown Boston in an attached townhouse with my husband and 2 daughters, moving to the wilderness. But fortunately, it was a good move. My daughter came out here after college about 18 years ago, and we came to visit every season. And for some reason, I was always drawn to Redstone from the first time she brought us here. In fact, the fellow who sold us our place said, Redstone finds its people. And I truly believe that. It's not for everybody, but the people who are there are high quality.
Yes.
And talented.
Yes.
Lisa does know a lot about me because it is a small community and she is my neighbor. But hopefully she won't disclose too much about that. But anyway, I always came to Redstone, but I never, ever thought we would move here. My husband and I had never discussed living in Colorado, nor had I discussed it with my daughter. One day she calls me out of the blue and says, you know that Redstone Cliffs Lodge on the boulevard? I think it might be going on the market. And I said, why don't you just go over, check it out, and the rest is history. So now I'm in semi-retirement, running my 3rd career, running a 12-room lodge.
So, how do you have time to make and create art?
That's a good question, but I always find time to make things, as you know, Lisa. Art fuels my soul and recharges my battery. And luckily, I brought enough supplies from my store. I had socked it away in my studio. I have a studio on the property, and I have enough supplies to keep me happy and very busy. So I always find time to make things.
So, have you always been an artist?
Well, Lisa, that's an interesting question. As I mentioned, I am in my 3rd career, but I've always dabbled in the arts, and I've mastered a few. In high school, I toyed with the idea of becoming a professional ski bum, and then I considered continuing. Yeah, if I had come out here then, well, the story would be very different. But I then considered continuing my education, and I was always interested in the arts. But my father made an executive decision and decided I was going to continue my education. So I enrolled at the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. I was accepted, I should say. And I was exposed to many things. It was the 70s. I learned about a lot of things, including a little bit about jewelry making. And then I did my first career was, so then I did a complete about-face, I should say. I went to law school. 'Cause I had to figure out how I was going to support myself now that I was an artist. So I went to law school so I could earn a living, and I got married. And so that was my first career.
But, so did you represent artists? Any litigation with artists?
Well, occasionally. Yeah.
So, how did, being an attorney, how did that work with your interest in the arts?
Well, practicing law is an art, a different kind of art that I didn't want to continue in, obviously. But to be a lawyer, you need to be an artist and to approach things creatively and innovatively in a different kind of way. But I was admitted to the bar in 1978. I did represent a few artists pro bono, but my specialty was employment law. So hiring,
Nice.
firing, discrimination, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So by the end of that, I did that for about 30 years. And by the end, I was like, I will do anything not to do this anymore, including even string beads. So
And to run a 12-bedroom.
and here I am running
Lodge.
so I needed lots of bead therapy after all those years of practicing law, so it worked out well. And one day I just went into the office and quit. And I'm still a recovering lawyer, but I have transferable skills from that part of my life.
So your third
My
career,
third career.
what did you do after?
Well, so I got into jewelry making, specifically crocheting beads, which was a lost art. It was very tedious. Like I said, I needed lots of hours of therapy to recover from my previous career. And I was making things in the house, and I was having shows in the house, and everybody wanted my stuff. It was new. It was 25 years ago, different from what I have now. But my collection is for sale at the Redstone Art Gallery on the Boulevard. I do not any longer crochet a bead. In fact, I do not want to look at a little bead. But anyway, I continued to make things, and I opened a studio. So I graduated from my house to a 1,000-foot studio, which I had until I moved to Redstone. And there was a studio and a showroom. I sold my jewelry from that space, and I then was looking at another factory building across the way that they were going to renovate. I thought I could open a little retail outlet. And I did shows all through the Northeast, jewelry shows, many shows, but I wanted to open a little retail outlet for my collection, and somehow that morphed into this Bead and Fiber, which was my store of 10 years, which I operated until I came out to Redstone. And it's still open, so if you go to Boston, I was very fortunate to sell my business. So it's still there. You can go
Okay.
and visit, but it's,
So what are you making now, Andrea?
well, like I said, I'm no longer crocheting beads, and I do dabble in lots of things. We have a gallery at our lodge, the Crystal River Arts, which features 7 other artists as well as me. So I dabble in a lot
Right.
of different things, but right now I'm focusing from a jewelry standpoint on my metalwork, and I've rediscovered polymer clay, so which is very light and very interesting material
Okay.
to work with. So I've incorporated that into my metal jewelry as well, some of
Okay.
my metal jewelry, and after 5 years of living in Redstone, I've opened every box in the last 2 months that I brought with me of materials, and I've discovered lots of things that I was socking away, and I'm ready to divest of my beautiful beads and clasps and things. So I'm making some really interesting necklaces, and I'm going to have some beaded stuff as well at the show.
At the art show.
At
You're
the
going to
art
have
show.
your jewelry at the art show.
Yes, my art. That's what just my jewelry. But if you want to see my other things, you can come to the gallery.
And I'm wearing a couple of pieces and the earrings, so I've been very lucky to be able to have the honor to wear your jewelry, so I'm
Thank you, Lisa.
truly blessed. So
Lisa.
now I would like to introduce Connie Hendricks, who is an internationally known artist, and the list goes on, so ready? Sculptor, painter, teacher, mentor, and great friend. She exhibits her art in galleries from Colorado, Arizona, and Tennessee. She has participated in 100 exhibitions at national, regional, and local levels. If you are a collector of art, her pieces will be on sale at the art show. So Connie, I'd like to start, is how did you work with, because we talk about the pandemic and COVID-19, what were were there any restrictions regarding your career? I mean, what did you do during this time?
You know, I took advantage of the time. I mean, it is so hard sometimes to map out your work schedule because of life's interruptions. And it was great. And a lot of my friends who are artists have all said the same thing. We hate the fact of what's happened, but it really has helped us be in the studio. And I never missed a beat. I kept on painting and sculpting, and I was preparing for when it was over, I would be ready. And when the restrictions were lifted, I was ready. And what was so exciting was that I had not had time to enter some of the juried shows the past few years.
Okay.
So, being ready, I have entered, and I've gotten in every one of them so far. So it's really exciting to me.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's great.
And, the other thing is, like I say, so many of my artist friends have said the same thing. It gave them quality time to really concentrate and get back to their souls and their art. And, actually it echoes what the Redstone Art Foundation did. They decided, they wanted to keep the ball rolling, and they thought creatively, and they've come up with exciting things. It's kind of pushed us.
I know.
Yeah.
And in the studio today, we have some of your paintings that I get to look at, especially, which I'm very fortunate. But where does your inspiration come from in your creative process?
Well, it comes from your heart and your soul, and then, of course, the environment that surrounds you. And it's just from so many things you least expect. But I can pass a waterfall, or smell the air, or feel the wind in my hair, or, the stars in the sky. It can just all affect you at different times. And the lighting, the color, the textures, you really tune into the world. And so that's where my inspiration comes from. And then, of course, you're inquisitive as an artist. So I'm always, going for the what ifs. What if I tried this? What if I tried that? And that also propels you into, new phases and so forth.
As with your sculpting with the Yule marble.
Yes. And I have to say, here I come to Marble, Colorado 26 years ago, and it's breathtaking. So that's inspiration for the painting. And then you find the quarry, the marble, Yule quarry, and marble. Well, then you're painting and you're sculpting and you're living here. You're living the dream. So, anyway, and then also I am inspired by past living artists, like the Impressionists, that dared to try something new and step out and be different. And it takes bravery. And so that's encouragement as well. And then more than anything, other artists, that's inspirational too.
Exactly. And, I know you always say that you have the freedom to explore new directions. And I wanted to find out, because you've been in the art show before, and can you tell us what you might be displaying at the art show this year?
Well, this year I'm doing all paintings, and they're going to range from watercolor to acrylics, and then into mixed media. But it's all water-based.
Okay.
Yeah. And you'll see florals, you'll see landscapes, and then definitely some abstracts and experimentation. And, of course, that's stimulating for us to be able to work in all those different directions. And I hope that by exploring all those avenues or staying in touch with the different styles, it makes me a better teacher. And then I can stimulate others.
Well, you've kind of stimulated my next question to you.
Uh-oh.
And that is, because I know that you are a teacher, are you teaching any workshops at the art show?
Well, actually, they've asked me to demonstrate on Sunday, September 5th at 1 o'clock. So I will be demonstrating watercolor at that time, but I would like to say how much I love to do it because it's interactive between the audience and you, and I love it when people interact with me while I'm painting. Some people don't want to be interrupted, but I love their questions because their questions are usually timing and very appropriate at that time, and many other people want to ask the same questions but don't. So therefore, I love that.
And I've taken a few of your classes, and I bet you got a lot of questions for me.
And that would have been appreciated.
Yeah. So where do you think your work is evolving right now?
I'm evolving into larger, more experimentation, And what's interesting is because I have a love, well, I love a lot of mediums, but I'm honed it down to painting and sculpture so that maybe you do those well. And so I'm kind of exploring for the future, pulling the two mediums kind of together. I'm not ready to show those yet, but I'm having a great fun with that.
Okay.
So that's the direction I'm going in.
Okay.
And of course, it helps my growth. It helps me grow as an artist.
Exactly.
And then that helps me take something to my students.
Which is, in October, you were probably going to have a watercolor class for beginners and intermediates.
The first week of October, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be the beginning class. And then the following week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be the intermediate advanced. And that's at the Fellowship Hall and the Marble Community Church.
Okay. So, I understand there's going to be 30 artists participating in this year's art show, offering a wide diversity of talent, as we have talent right here, and making this the premier art show in this valley. So, Francis, I just want to touch base with you. Is there any other future plans for the organization?
Yes, well, first of all, I'd like to encourage everybody to go to our website because something is always going on. We're www.redstoneartfoundation.com or .org, I believe it is. Anyway, we just finished a wonderful tour of the Marble Symposium where we got to see carvers carving, in marble that was quarried there. In November, we're going to go to the Powers Museum and see the Andy Warhol exhibit. We're once again going to have our market, our holiday market, which is going to be on December 6th. And then we're going to do our plein air event, which will be on Memorial Weekend, and cycle back around to our art show. So there's always something. So please go to our website to see what's up.
Sounds great. This is an impressive list of events for a small volunteer art foundation. We can all agree on that. So I want to thank my guests. Thank you all for coming and sharing your stories and about the Art Foundation. And I'm looking so forward to attending the silver anniversary, which is the 25th anniversary of the Labor Day Weekend Art Show in Redstone. This show is free to the public. The location of the art show is located on the premises of the historic Redstone Inn. This year there will be 2 tents, one on the front lawn of the inn and the other in the wedding tent, which is adjacent to the bar, grill, cafe, and pool. This will offer more space to view the art and be in a comfortable setting and space. The opening reception is on Friday, September 3rd from 6 to 8. This is an incredible time to meet the artists and enjoy some wine and conversation. The art show continues from 10 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday, and on Labor Day, Monday from 10 to 4. There will be various art demonstrations and workshops for adults as well as children on Saturday and Sunday. There will be a doggy park for your dogs. So there'll be water and treats will be available, plus a place to park your dog while you walk through and can view the art. The art that is on display is on sale. 30% of the sales proceeds will go directly to the Art Scholarship Program. You will be able to find that unique gift or add to your art collection. All restaurants, lodging, stores will be open. And for your enjoyment, there will be a concert on Saturday, September 4th from 5:30 to 7:30 with the local band called Feeding Giants. So for any other information about the art show, you can go to www.redstoneartfoundation.org. And I want to thank you for joining us, and we will see you at the art show.
On behalf of Lisa, Francis, Andrea, Connie, and everyone at the Redstone Art Foundation, we hope to see you this Labor Day weekend for the 25th anniversary of the Redstone Art Show and Sale. Cheers!